They lead 2-0. See, Lee Ryu loves to work with that changeup down in the strike zone. Again, this is a ball up in the strike zone, and Aaron Hicks launches it into the screen that we've seen earlier.
Both off of fastballs from Ryu. Talked about is really kind of a mix master in terms of his pitch selection. Curveballs, changeups. Burned 2 heaters here in the first.
Okay, guys, welcome to Social Studies. So last week I posted, let me see if I can pull it up here. So kind of a World War timeline. I want to go over this. So 1914, it says Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria was assassinated. So shortly after that, in August, World War I was underway in Europe. Our President Wilson, we said he proclaimed neutrality and we're not going to get into the war. Then 1915, the Germans sank Lusitania, which killed 128 Americans. And then they sink a French ferry in March of 1916. But then they made a pledge not to sink any more merchant ships without warning. 1916, Wilson was elected into a second term of the U.S. president. January, almost 2 months after that, Germany announces it's going to continue with their use of submarine warfare on passenger ships. Then in 1917, in February, the United States, we stopped communicating with Russia once they announced that they were going to start bombing submarines. Then in 1917, we declare war on Germany. And then in November 1918, World War I ends. So we were basically in World War I from April 6th to November of 1918. So, almost a year and a half, even though World War I started in 1914, we really didn't get into it until 1917. And this was a couple things that happened. This is a letter from after the Lusitania sank, and they're in the New York Times. And it talks a little bit about what Germany was doing. And then what you have here, this is kind of a big thing of why we really got involved in World War I. It was called the Zimmerman Telegram. And if you look down here, what this says is, we intend to begin on the 1st February unrestricted submarine warfare. So this is from Germany to Mexico. Okay. We shall endeavor, in spite of this, to keep the United States neutral. In the event of this not succeeding, we will make Mexico a proposal alliance on the following basis. We'll make war together, make peace together, and generous financial support and understanding of our part that Mexico is to recover the lost territory of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. The settlement and details left to you. You will inform the President of the above most secrecy as soon as the outbreak war of the United States of America is certain to add the suggestion they should on its own invite Japan to immediately adhere at the same time mediate to Japan ourselves. Please call the President's attention to the fact that the release employment of our submarines now offers prospect of compelling England a few months to make peace. Signed, Zimmerman. This is from Germany to the Mexican Secretary of State. And what it's saying is Germany is trying to make a pact with Mexico. If they help Germany against the United States, Mexico will help them get Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona State back to the United States. Okay, the thing was, the United States intercepted this telegram. And you can look up here. Back then, all those numbers meant words. It was like a code. And the United States was able to intercept that, and they broke the codes. They knew that Germany and Mexico had made this secret pact to try to, wage war against the United States and also help Mexico get Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona back. Okay, so today's lesson in social studies is just asking you, I'll bring that up in a second here. Okay, so today this just asks you, when did World War I start and end? So you can go back to that timeline, and it's like 1914, and then it ended in 1918. What were the causes of the war? Well, the first one was the Archduke of Austria was assassinated. And some of you were in class, we saw a video about that. So really it started between Austria and Serbia. But then what happened? All those alliances formed. So people kind of got in line, with certain countries. And then that's how World War I broke out in Europe. So then it says, when did the United States enter the war? So that timeline says 1917. What caused U.S. to enter the war? Basically, it was that Zimmerman telegram that we intercepted. We knew that Germany and Mexico were teaming up to try to wage a secret war on us, and that Germany even promised to help Mexico get Texas, Arizona, New Mexico back. Okay. Part of it, too, was the Lusitania was part of it. That was a passenger ship that was going from the United States to England. They sunk that, and 218 Americans died. One of their submarines sunk that ship. So what are some of the effects that WW had both nationally and globally? So some of the themes, it changed the balance of power in Europe. And when we were in class, we talked a little bit about the Versailles Treaty. So Germany was responsible for paying back the cost of all the war to all the European nations. They couldn't have an army. Germany lost land. But really what it did is it started setting up World War II, because a lot of people say World War II started the day World War I ended. So they tried to make Germany solely responsible for the First World War. And if you're a country, you can't have any army, you can't defend yourself. They lost some of their land. One of the land was really where they produced a lot of their coal. So they lost that, so they had no way to power their country. So Germany was really upset with the outcome of, World War I. It also kind of made the United States like a superpower, because the war had been going on for 3 years. As soon as the United States came in, they were able to end the war. So it kind of cemented our place as kind of a world power, along with Russia. And that slowly changed as we get into World War II, because Germany basically, from the time World War I ended to the time World War II started, they were kind of breaking that treaty. And it, for some of you, allowed like Hitler to come into power in Germany, because the Germans, obviously after you lose a war, you're kind of defeated and your morale is not very high. So people were willing to give him a chance, because he basically said, I'm going to bring Germany back to greatness. And it kind of paved the way for all it to come in. So those are just some of the things you can put in this box. And if you're confused about today's lesson, like I said, you can go back to the lesson that I posted last week that has a timeline. And you can just basically go through that, and it'll give you, I'll bring that up again. It gives you some details that maybe you can fill in this box with. And this is it right here. So it's from September 4th. Just go ahead and pull this up. And this gives you a timeline. There's a couple readings in there too you can peruse through. Just go ahead and try to fill that box up the best you can. All right, you guys, thanks so much and have a wonderful day.